Is it really possible that you could quantum leap your reality so much that you make more in a matter of days or a couple months than you have ever in a whole year? And I know what you're thinking. Is it really possible for me to earn a significant amount of money in less time? Well, guys, listen, it doesn't matter if you're trying to make your first 10K, 100K, or M. This same principle applies to everybody. And this is how I helped my client Gina not just do 100K in 100 days as we set the intention to do, but she ended up doing over 250K in less than 90 days. And this is how you can use these same exact principles that I helped her do, apply it to your own life now. So watch this video, subscribe, put in the comments what is it that you want to manifest, and let's get into it. Firstly, I want you to know, whoever's watching this video, you clicked on this video for a reason. And a part of you know that you're wanting to take a quantum leap in your life. And I'm here to tell you that it's 100% possible. Anytime that my life has grown, it hasn't been incremental shifts. It went from having nothing to raising $1 million, having nothing and doing my first stocks to making $500,000 in my first 60 days of trading stocks, right? There's so many things in my life where it's been a quantum leap in my life. It went from having no clients to by the first 5 clients I've had, I was charging 10, 20K, changing lives of people drastically. So growth is not a linear process. It's only linear in the minds of the people who think it has to be linear. But you can make exceptional growth, quantum growth. You could collapse time. And I'm about to show you exactly how to do that. So the first step in really quantum leaping your reality is you must start playing a bigger game. You got to have a bigger intention for life. You got to have a bigger idea and possibility that you're wanting to create. You have to expand the possibility of what you think is actually possible in the life that you're able to manifest in the time period that you're able to manifest it in. So what do I mean by playing a bigger game? Well, first you have to have a vision that's so big that it requires a quantum leap in order to achieve. You see, most people, even you watching this video, when you're looking at growing your life, you look at it in linear steps, right? So how can I make my first 10,000 if you just have 5,000? And then you're like, well, can I get to 15,000? Can I get to 25,000? Can I get to 100,000? But you're not asking yourself, yo, how is it that I could play a bigger game? So I do this all the time with my clients, and it just depends on the scale that person is at, right? But most likely my clients are playing at a 6 to 7 figure scale. So it's how can we make 100K in 100 days? How can we make 250K in 100 days? How can we add an additional $1 million in 100 days, right? And when you start doing that, what it does is it requires you to ask different questions. And this is the part that's so beautiful. This is a subconscious part. I want you to imagine this. Imagine I told you right now that within the next 7 days, you have to come up with $1,000 or else I'm going to kidnap your loved one and you'll never see them again. Could you do it? Some of you are like, yo, I got $1,000 in my pocket. What you mean? All right, cool. Or what if you had to come up with $10,000? What if you're somebody that has 5,000? You're like, okay, I can figure out 10,000. What if you had to come up with $100,000? What if you had to come up with $250,000 in the next 7 days if your loved one life depended on it? What if you had to come up with $1 million in the next 7 days if your loved one's life depended on it? The first thing you start thinking is whatever the amount is, it requires you to come up with a different pathway for the fulfillment of it. And this is where the game comes in. Understand, for every game that you play, there's rules to that game. And a lot of times the rules is not just how you have to do it and what you have to do, but the time period in that you have to do it. And there's a different playbook for the different amount of time. There's a different playbook when it's the first quarter to when it's fourth quarter, we're down by 2 and there's only 20 seconds left on the clock. There's a whole different playbook that we're going to run at that moment, right? So in your life, to start quantum leaping is you want to play a bigger game because it's going to require you to ask different questions. If you got to come up with $1,000, the pathway to get 1,000 is way different than the pathway to get 10,000. It's way different than the pathway to get 100,000. It's way different from the pathway to get $250,000 or $1 million. But the reason that most people are not experiencing the 6 to 7 figures, right? Or you feel stuck in your business, you feel stuck in your life, is because you stop playing a big game in your life. So a lot of times people who achieve, they get complacent and you start worrying about not losing the success rather than expanding the success, right? And I'm going to talk about exactly in this video, even with my client Gina. But you got to start playing a bigger game. You got to ask yourself a different questions. The quality of your life is the quality of the questions that you ask yourself. And the quality of your growth is going to be the quality of intention that you ask yourself about the growth that you're looking to experience. So the moment with Gina, we said, yo, okay, I want you to play a game of coming up with 100K in 100 days. Yo, she contracted. She was like, what do you mean? Like 100K in 100 days? Like to add an additional 100K of revenue to my business, right? It sounded crazy to her. But what did it make her do? Number one is it made her get very intentional. And then number two, which is the beautiful thing that we're about to talk about right now, is it made her look at herself in the mirror, because she realized in order to create that level of result and have that level of result, she must become somebody that she's never been before. And that's the second recipe of this, is you have to change your identity. You have to become somebody you've never been before in order to experience and have a reality that you've never experienced before. You have to see yourself radically different and radically bigger than the person you currently are right now. Because in order to achieve that result, right, understand there's a direct correlation between seed and fruit. You will never get the fruit of a seed you haven't planted. So most people, they want the fruits of 6 and 7 figures, but they're planting seeds of scarcity. You're planting seeds of lack. You're planting seeds of doubt, of procrastination, of non-action, of non-belief. But yet you want the fruit of somebody that's in alignment. And unaligned seeds will always produce unaligned fruit. Unaligned roots will always produce unaligned fruits, right? So you got to shift your identity. You see, this is one of the biggest keys to manifestation that most people miss, is most people create a vision, but they never create the person that they need to become in order to achieve that vision. So you're going after a vision, being the same person that created the results that you currently experience. Then Albert Einstein said you can't solve a problem at the same level of consciousness that created it. Meaning the identity that you have that you're currently experiencing in your life, it cannot be the same identity that's going to allow you to experience something differently in your life. It has to be, so you have to become somebody differently, right? And one of the best things that I like to do even with my clients, when I walk them through the process of identity transformation, is to, once we have created a new identity, is we name that person. Right? Like labels are so important. Think about when you was a kid and you downstairs, right? Or you upstairs in your bedroom and you hear your mama call your whole government name. Right? John Smith the third, bring your down. You know what I mean? Right? You like, yo, you know you're in trouble. Or picture when you with your spouse and you hear her call you that sweet name. That baby, that honey boo, all right? Or you hear your man call you, come here, my little sugar plump, my little honey bump, whatever that is, right? Think about how that makes you feel. So it's different when somebody's calling your name to when he's like, yo, come here, my little princess, here, my queen. That's a way different feeling, right? Because labels produce feelings. So one of the biggest things that I help my clients do after we walk them through the transformational process is now we need to create a label. We need to create a new name to that person. That's exactly what I did with Gina. And what it did is it allows her to create an avatar, a version of herself to live more into. When I was in the streets, I had a street name. They called me Marlo. When I was in school, I had a name from school. When I became who I am now and I stepped into my purpose, I stepped into my alignment, had knowledge of myself, right? And I went to Africa and spoke across Kenya. That's when I changed my name to Kusudi, right? Matter of fact, I may put like a little clip in here real quick, right? But that's when I changed my name to Kusudi, which means purpose. Because this was the identity for the person I needed to be in order to fulfill my life. So no, after you play a bigger game, you have to create a new identity. And you have to create an identity with the person necessary to fulfill that. So creation is always two parts. It's not just the vision, but it's the person that you need to be in order to achieve the vision. And until you do that, then the things are not going to align with each other, right? So that's what I helped Gina do. I helped her create a whole new vision, helped her create a whole new person, the person that she needed to be in order to execute and create that 100K in 100 days results. And then once you have a bigger game that you're playing, once you have cultivated the identity, doing the deep work, right? That's the work that me and Gina have done in every retreat that we've ever done together. Now, number 3 is you have to take massive, aligned, inspired action. Notice I didn't just say massive action. Most people run fast as hell in the wrong direction. So you're grinding, but on the wrong business. You're pouring your love, but into the wrong relationship, right? You're wanting to be accepted and admired and everything, but by the wrong people. And most of us, we put ourselves in environments that was never meant for us. And you're trying to fit into an environment that was never meant for you to fit in. So it's not just taking massive action, because a lot of people do that. You see, most of you don't have the results just because you're lazy or you're not doing anything. It's just you're not doing the right thing. You're not doing the difference that makes the difference. And this is where the coaching comes in. This is where the accountability, this is where the guidance comes in. So that way you're using your energy in the place that brings you the highest return. So you got to take massive, aligned, and inspired action. You see, when it's aligned and inspired, that means that inspiration that came from God. The alignment is with you, your source, spirit, your ancestors. So that way the thing that you're doing is the thing that you were created to do, which holds there's no higher vibration than being in alignment with the reason you were created to be in this world. That's your purpose, right? That's your reason for being. That's the thing their mission that God created you for in this world, right? So it's not just about taking action. It's about taking aligned, inspired action. This is where the quantum leaps takes place, because now you're in complete, have you guys seen where it's like, I don't know, maybe like a car where like one person's ahead and there's like a drift behind it and the other person is like catching that drift, or like when people are bike riding, or like anywhere where it's like something is moving and it's creating a drift for the person behind it to come. It happens in like, not snowboarding, but what is it called when you're in the water? Surfing as well, right? It's like, that's when like God is leading and you just in that drift with God. Like you just in that zone. So something that would have taken you like so short or so long, now because you're in that vibrational alignment state, you're able to create it in a significantly faster rate because you're in alignment with the energy that creates everything. And this is where the quantum leaps takes place, is you have to be in aligned action and take consistent action towards it. Guys, when people say I speak my words into reality, right? I create reality, the law of attraction. As I speak, so it is. I speak my reality into existence, right? It's not a one-time thing. See, most people, they speak the dreams that they have, and then they spend the other 23 hours in a day, 17 hours that you're awake, speaking things against that. No, it's when you speak things into reality, what that means is you don't talk about anything else. You keep speaking it until it unfolds. So you're not just speaking it in your bedroom, you're speaking it to everybody around you. And this is how me and Gina started taking her business to the next level. Because she knew she wanted to expand her client base, so she would speak that to everybody. She'll go to networking events. When she's with people, when she's around people, she would share who she is and what she wants to create in this world. And what that did was it told the universe, yo, I just put more people in my environment that align with what is it that I'm speaking. And that's how she was able to do $250,000 in less than 90 days of new business, a result that she thought she would never be able to do. Was because we got her into the aligned state first, right? And I made a part 1 to this video talking about the spiritual alignment and personal fulfillment. If you didn't watch that video and this is value to you, go back and rewatch the first part video as well. Because all of these different type of things, the internal work, the external work, is all the combination of what allowed her to create that level of result. And that's the result that I have numerous clients create, from going from not just a 250K in 90 days, from my client Ryan going from 50K a month to 250K a month, right? And more clients have been able to create millions in different results in their life, not just money, but self-love, relationships, mending broken relationships with parents. My client Lawrence lost over 100 pounds in a year. I mean, this is the same process that I've been able to help my clients create a numerous results in their life. And it's the same process that you can use in order to change your life. So guys, listen, if you're wanting to apply this to your own life, if you're wanting to take a quantum leap in your own life, then you want to come out here to Tulum, do a 5-day alignment retreat with me and get coaching in your life so I could work personally one-on-one with you in order for you to make quantum leaps in your life. This is for the person that's listening to this that know you're on the cusp of something. Like, have you ever felt like, Kusudi, my blessings is here? Like, I just can't grasp it. Like, it's here. I know I'm supposed to be at a different level. I know there's a deeper level of fulfillment. I know there's a deeper level of happiness. I know there's a more abundant level of prosperity that's waiting for me right now in this moment. My life looks good, it's great, but I know it could be phenomenal, way greater than what I'm currently experiencing. I just don't know what it is. You're at the cusp of a quantum leap, and I want to show you how to go inwardly in order to create that quantum leap. So click the link below, right? Learn more about the retreat, apply to work with me. Let's get on the phone call and see if it's the right fit for you. And guys, listen, for everybody that's watching this video, it's significantly possible for you to make a quantum leap. Guys, I went from making $11 an hour making bagels for Walmart. I went from cleaning trains when I first got out of jail, sleeping in my car to go to my first personal development event, to not only raising over $1 million when I was 24 years old and becoming a millionaire, to being able to do millions of dollars in business and help people all around this world and coach others on how to do the same. And it all comes down to the teachings that I'm teaching you right now, and then the deep teachings that I do with my clients. And if you want to create that level of results for your life, click the link below and let's talk about how. All right, guys, listen, if this was value, like, share, comment, go rewatch part 1. I'm going to make a third part, really recapping everything that I did in my retreat with my client, Gina, and be on the lookout for more content. All right, peace.